Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Podcast for Your Life.
I'm Jam.
And I'm Jason.
Today we're going to talk about fads.
Yeah, fads. This is great. Like this series, it's just a fad. It'll pass.
Yeah, just like the podcast.
Oh man.
Fads that pass. One reason we kind of thought about fads in general was, many people have seen and have gotten sucked up into the fad of the fidget spinner.
The fidget spinner.
Which is like not really worth talking about because it's like happening right now and everybody's got an opinion on it, and it's kind of like, why would you listen to us talk about it if you're going to listen to anyone talk about it? You know what I mean? So we're like, let's talk about other fads that we have seen in our lives.
Yeah. It's crazy that people are just taking videos of them. They're taking selfies of themselves with their fidget spinners. It's crazy. So yeah, let's jump in, and I'll start talking about some memorable fads from growing up. For me, the most memorable fad, I believe, was the Silly Bands. You remember those?
See, those sound familiar, and I think I remember my brother being pretty into those, but like...
Younger brother or older brother?
Younger brother.
Yep, totally.
I did not get into that. So I barely remember even what they were.
I think the appeal of Silly Bands skipped like 2 or 3 years after us. Like it skipped us and then like jumped to younger folks. Because my brother was like crazy into them for like probably a good 6 months. Like it was a good run. The Silly Bands were those rubber bands that you could wrap around your ankles or your wrist or whatever, and they were shaped like different characters, animals, donuts maybe. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess donuts are, yeah. Anyway, they were just like different shapes, and you could like somehow pull them off and look at them, and they were just like, they were rubber bands, so they stretched and stuff, but if you looked at them in their natural resting state, they were like a shape, and it was pretty impressive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I remember that, especially because my younger brother, who was into those, was in choir, and they would kind of have like, I guess I don't want to say competitions, but like they kind of got into it together, him and like his friends in choir and stuff. And so I remember him having like a unique one that was sort of hard to find,
Like super rare, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really know like how true that was, but it's just kind of interesting to think about like these animal-shaped rubber bands being like a coveted like hot commodity or whatever.
It was a hot commodity. Like people were trading them. I think if you found one that was super rare, it was like, oh yeah, he has a gorilla. Like, whoa, no way. There's only 3 of those in the world. And yeah, I remember them being excited about getting special ones. And today I got a narwhal. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
What's weird too is I remember too, like when they're on your wrist, they of course stretch.
Yeah, you can't.
Around. You can't tell what they are.
Tell, yeah.
But it just looks like a messed up rubber band. Like
It does.
it's like
crimped and stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and bent and everything.
Yeah.
It just, you can't tell that it has any like meaning or value.
Yeah, and these folks would just cover their arms in these Silly Bands, like just colors, just like obviously I don't think anybody I knew had like an arm or like their elbow to their wrist covered, but I've definitely seen pictures of people who are like, oh my gosh, like that's like probably 100 Silly Bands on one arm.
It's so weird. I hadn't even thought about those in forever.
I know. And I think just like when we see fads like the fidget spinners come up, we're just like, yo, remember when blah 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 was the fad, you know?
Yeah.
I think they just, yeah.
But it's like they start super fast and like rise to fame or whatever you want to call it quickly, but I feel like they fade out like with a whimper kind of thing. Like it's not like suddenly in the headlines or something it's like, oh hey, this fad is not a thing anymore. Like, hey everyone, go sell or throw away all your Silly Bands.
Throw away.
It's like they kind of like peter out or whatever, and it's like a quiet death.
Yeah,
So
it's like a boom town basically.
Yeah.
Yep. How about you? What do you remember about memorable fads growing up?
There are a couple that came to mind. One, I really tried to find like the name of this type of shoe, but there was a shoe that I remember like everyone was into for a little bit. By everybody, I just mean like the people that I hung around with in elementary school. I was probably like in first or second grade, which would have been like 2000 or 1999 or something, and there were these shoes that were like sold as like this really cool like high tech like piece of technology, and it like had a microchip in it.
Whoa.
But like that's what they use the term microchip. Like remember when that used to be like a cool word, and now it's in everything. But so the ad was like showing these people like running fast and like talking about like, have you ever thought about a shoe that could measure how fast you can run and how high you can jump and all this stuff, and it showed all these kids like doing cool things, and it was like, oh my gosh, like a computer in your shoe, whoa. And it was this plastic, the chip was probably in there, this plastic like circle thing that was thick and heavy on the tongue of the shoe, and like there's some buttons you can press and stuff like that on it, and some like lights that would light up. But like it was like really impractical and stuck out like a sore thumb because like we couldn't figure out how to make things small at that time. It was really stupid, but I guess it was just supposed to be fun because I don't think it was expensive if I was able to have it. And so I had those shoes, and that was the coolest thing. But like I don't know if any of us ever figured out how they actually worked. We were just like in awe.
It was
of the
just
fact-
cool. Like, well,
Yeah.
this could measure myself going 5 miles per hour.
But it was like you would run, and then you'd look at the shoe, like, and then it would like light up some like lights next to the running icon, and it'd be like, oh yeah, it knew I ran. Like that was really it. Like there's no like miles per hour or something.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah, it was just lights.
Oh,
Like,
wow. That seems super
I know.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was really dumb. So that was one, and then another was these. Like everybody knows about Heelys, but this was
Yeah.
I think like a little bit before Heelys, like because Heelys are at least a little bit more.
They're still around. I saw somebody the other day who had Heelys on.
They were longer
in a
lasting.
store.
But these were roller skate shoes, and the wheels were like in the soles. Like the soles were really thick, and you'd press a button and they would like swing out.
Oh, interesting.
So it's different. So it's
Wow.
like, and there instead of just the heel, it was in the front and the back. There was a set of wheels in the front and the back. So if you tried to wear them to do anything in them, there was these heavy, thick soles that almost were like platform shoes. And as a guy, you know, it just doesn't really look great with
Yeah.
your cargo shorts and whatever other 2000s stuff you're wearing.
We don't endorse guys wearing platform shoes.
Well, especially not they have wheels in them. If you're gonna wear platform shoes, like go straight up platform shoes. But if you're gonna wear, if you're like
We
wanting
just
wheels,
said we don't endorse guys wearing platform shoes.
yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Oh, man.
Um,
It bothers me.
but
Don't do it, guys.
it's really impractical, and
That's why. Yep.
it became evident pretty quickly that like you can't do anything on if you wore those shoes to school, you try to do PE in them, like playing dodgeball or basketball or whatever you were doing in elementary school. There's no way you could wear those shoes and do it. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe there's a reason why. There's a reason why we have shoes and then rollerblades as like
Yeah.
a separate thing.
It would have been cool if it's like that, but yeah, Heelys, like I feel like they're just not the same, you know.
But it was like I feel like skaters had Heelys and like
really,
yeah.
I feel like it was more like the scooter people had Heelys. Like,
Maybe that's right because skaters would like just skate.
yeah,
for real.
exactly, and they were good at it. And it was the people who were like using scooters, you know, because they're used to like the two wheels
Yeah.
in line.
You're right.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of fads, remember scooters when they were like a huge deal? Okay,
Yes.
I went to this place. Okay, I think it was a Kmart.
Uh-huh.
I was like 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old when scooters came out. And they were a big deal, but we went to a Kmart that was going out of business, and we found a scooter for $30, and that was cheap.
Yeah.
That was like 70% off at the time.
Yeah.
And this was like the first one. Like it was thick metal, and the wheels were thick, and it was just like a solid made scooter compared to the stuff they make now, which I'm sure they probably just like modified it, but made it better. But still, like this was like, whoa, a $30 scooter, we gotta get this. So I got one, and then it lasted us like a long time, and then I don't know if I think we probably gave it away or sold it. But remember, they're like a huge deal.
Yeah, they were.
Scooters.
And I remember there being
Again,
this whole,
not for the skateboarding folk.
yes, just for the like people that aren't good at skateboarding, needed an easier version of skateboarding. I remember too. They were like
They're fun though.
there were different brands, and like as a kid especially, there's the idea of like, oh, one of these is like the real one.
The
you know?
scooter, the actual like I think
Yeah.
it was Razor, right? Yeah,
Razor. So we didn't have a Razor.
Oh, you didn't have a Razor?
No,
oh,
we
man.
had a
Mine was Razor.
yeah, we had a Rollin' On.
A roll. That sounds like a knockoff, just like straight
Yeah,
up.
but it was really good though. That was actually our good one. Then we got another one. So I had two brothers, and it's hard to share one scooter among three boys.
Yeah.
Who all want to ride at the same time. So then I got one for Christmas like the next year, and my parents don't pay attention to that kind of brand stuff or whatever. So it was a different brand, a kind like even worse brand than Rolling On. And I was so frustrated and like didn't really want like it was the good thing about it is it was taller, it was a little bit higher off the ground scooter.
That's cool.
Everything else was like less good, and like I couldn't do nearly as many like
tricks
and moves.
like you pop it or whatever. I mean, that was actually pretty easy to pop it. So, dude, that was fun, man. Scooters. That was like a lot of my like junior high years was scootering around the park.
I don't know if this is really a fad, but I remember in middle school especially like Under Armour and other brands doing the same kind of material.
Yeah, that
got really popular, and one of the biggest things to do was to wear like a long sleeved Under Armour thing, and like wear a short sleeve shirt on top of it, so that people would see the Under Armour sleeves like sticking out or whatever.
Yeah,
that was a big fad for sure in middle school. It, like got big. Like even I did it, and I didn't do any sports or anything.
Yeah, they're still doing that. Not just middle schoolers.
Like who is doing that?
Like people who play sports
are still wearing like long sleeve Under Armour and short sleeve shirts.
Yeah, or
No.
their jerseys. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
because like Under Armour is great
For what?
for sports.
But people still do that. Like why would
Jam, you don't even play sports, okay?
like? But what's the point of like having it stick out from your?
I think it's supposed to show your muscles because like it's like tight and sticks to your skin, so it's supposed to give you more like definition or whatever. But it's funny because like if you were like me in middle school, I didn't really have any guns or any sign of muscle on any of my body parts.
I still have the same amount of muscle from middle school actually.
Did you say it again?
Yeah, Jason's right. I don't play sports, so I guess it's not really my area of expertise.
Have you ever owned Under Armour?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, also there's the
like when you're disc golfing, you got to get the.
I do play disc golf. Okay, so maybe that's not a fad, but it did hit really big suddenly, right? So
Sure.
do we have time for a small grievance for me to insert about Under Armour?
Why not?
Okay. So this has always bothered me. Under Armour, the name is pretty clear. Under Armour, and like they were like, oh yeah, these things you wear under, it keeps you warm, or it like keeps you dry because it soaks up your sweat or whatever it is. And then they came out with shoes. I think they still do shoes. No idea how I'm gonna fit Under Armour shoes under my other shoes. How the heck am I supposed to put on 2 pairs of shoes? They like had a pretty consistent brand. Hey, these things can go under what you wear until the shoes. No possible way you can wear those shoes under your regular shoes.
And the Under Armour shoes that they have are like these really thick shoes too. You know,
Yeah.
they're like very thick.
So come on, Under Armour. Like that threw us all for a loop. I gotta say, I'm speaking for everyone. Whenever you blew it with the shoes, and you're still making shoes. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
I really want to believe that you're serious, but I'm having trouble.
It is annoying. I mean, like that was the first thing like that they did that couldn't be worn under. It's
Yeah, it's crazy. Did you just think that right now?
no. I've always thought that.
Oh, really? It's a total joke. You know that, right? Like, you didn't really think like, oh, I can totally put these basketball shoes underneath my Converse.
No, I mean it is like I didn't think I could, but it is annoying that they made a thing that doesn't go under something.
Okay.
You feel me?
It's kind of like Coca-Cola shirts. You know, it's like, why can't I drink this? Is that the same idea that you're going off of?
Except
The
for
logic?
Under Armour is like a very like the title, like the name of their company is like also a description. It's like under. It has like it gives you a good idea of what the product is. Coca-Cola.
Apple. Does that give you a good description of the product? Not really.
Well,
Makes
no.
me hungry.
But
So I don't want to shoot down your grievance.
also they had a consistent like lineup.
But it was
of
a good sketch.
products. You know what I mean?
It was a good verbatim. It was a good play on words.
But it's not. The point isn't that I actually thought you could put those shoes on under. The point is that like, why would they make something that doesn't go under when that's like their whole premise?
I hear you, man.
Okay, thank you for hearing me out.
You have been heard.
Okay, that's all the time we have to talk about fads for life. Thanks so much for listening, and find us on your favorite podcast app. And if you'd like to submit some sort of topic for us to discuss, something that has to do with your life, then email us at podcastforyourlife@gmail.com.
That's it. Yeah. We're just waiting for you to email us. All right, kids. Well, we will see you next time.